Hey Ben, it's Coach Tyler. I'm here doing the VOD review you requested of your match last week against this King K. Rool player. I don't have a script. I've just got notes, so forgive me if I'm a little rambly, but let's hop into it. Okay, so off the bat, I think you actually do a pretty great job in this matchup. You're doing a lot of the stuff we've talked about in class, right? You're doing a lot of the stuff we've been practicing, and I've got very few complaints about any of that. You're doing great as far as the stuff we've covered goes. Okay. Most of the stuff we're going to talk about in your video here, and I'm going to point out the reasons why I think why this game goes as poorly as it does as far as the actual stock count goes. But what we're going to talk about primarily is some of the stuff that you specifically, not like on a class level, this is like you specifically need to start doing as Cloud to really bring your game to not just good Smash Bros. Play, but like good Cloud play, if that makes sense. Okay. Um, the only the only really big thing that I'm gonna point out that I want you to look for throughout the set is you have a panic roll habit, right? Where when you get spooked, you are very quick to roll instead of shield. Very common new competitive player habit, right? I'm actually surprised at how few of you are doing it. A couple of you are, but not nearly as many as I thought would be. But so let's get into it. And I'll show you what I mean.
3, 2, 1, go!
All right, so that's kind of just a silly. This first interaction here is kind of just a silly matchup thing, right? That I don't think you knew, where that will just grab you, right? You kind of have to approach sort of from this angle in order to avoid that. But straight on will catch you. But that's just a matchup knowledge thing. I wouldn't blame yourself too much for not knowing that on the first go. A great tech there, by the way. I know that's one of our gotcha rules, right? Is teching, and right here you still get hit. So I just realized earlier this week that when I explained teching to the class, I forgot to mention something pretty important. Where in addition to pressing shield when you hit the ground to tech, which will count for our gotcha rule, which is why I assume it's the only thing I mentioned, um, you can also press a direction while you press the shield button. If you press left or right, you'll combine it with a roll, and it's called a tech roll, right? So you can tech roll in or tech roll out, and it'll give you some invincibility frames while you move. So if you had tech rolled out, or possibly even in, I'm not sure about the timing exactly, but if you tech rolled out, you would have dodged that dash attack, so you wouldn't have been punished for it. Just be aware of it. Something else to practice while you're learning the tech. You can do more than just tech in place, but good job actually landing the tech. Okay, so you did recover high there, right? Not a problem for you specifically, because Cloud has to mix it up more often than other characters do. And as you're going to show throughout this set, you are willing to go to ledge. So I have very few concerns on that. Feel free to choose between recovering high and going low and going to ledge at your discretion. Just make sure you're doing both, okay? As you see as like a mix-up option, okay? Cloud's recovery isn't the best, right? You're going to lose a stock to it later. So I'm perfectly okay with you choosing to go high a little bit more often than some of the other players do. And you've already shown that you are learning and willing to go below stage and recover to ledge. So no worries there. Great work. Great catch there. Excellent job there. This is awesome. I love this bait and punish. I love you running in, baiting out the option, and running back out. Fantastic. And then you catch him with something. It wasn't an amazing punish, right? Dash attack might have hit a little harder, right? A grab would have hit a roll, but you hit him with something. Great work there. You baited an option, and then you punished him for it. Good work. Great spacing there. Excellent call out there. You get limit. You shield there. Just all of that's awesome, and then you still catch him with it again. Just all of that's fantastic. Great work done. Okay, right here is where it gets a little bit dicey. So he's pretty far, and in the King K. Rool matchup, and this might be a matchup thing, right? he covers a lot of horizontal space at about this distance with his crown. Okay, it's one of his best tools in neutral that he can throw out. That and cannon, right? So you get into the dangerous spot here at about this distance, and once he throws crown, you don't react in time with shield, right? And so you get hit. So try to get a little bit better at canceling charge as soon as your opponent resets to neutral. Okay? While they're recovering off stage and getting back to neutral, absolutely charge. What I want you to be doing, right? Building up that limit meter, super important for Cloud. But get used and try to get a handle about canceling it as soon as neutral starts back up. All right? Okay, so I'm going to point this out here, because right there, you do what you're supposed to do there, and you shield that, right? You don't roll in or try to roll around it. Instead, you shield it, and you get a punish for it. This is going to cost you a stock later, which is the reason I'm bringing it up now. So great job here. Great job. You're still punching with that. It doesn't look like a bunch of damage all at once, right? But hitting him with that brings him from 82 to 89, does 7 damage, and this is the 4th time you've hit him with it. 3 of them were normal for 7%, so that's 21 damage just off that read, right? That same thing you've done 3 times now brought him 21%. So he would have been at 68, but instead, because you've been doing that, you brought him to 89. So it adds up over time, right? So even little stuff like that, little pokes and jabs absolutely add up. And that's not even counting the one time you caught him with the powered up version, which I'm not sure how much damage it did. But so all that's great. Then he comes back to neutral, and you're not charging this time, and you still just kind of stand there and take that hit. I'm not sure what happened there. Again, think it might just be a matchup thing. So just be aware of this sort of space around K. Rool and other characters with projectiles, right? That if they have a good projectile like that, you gotta be ready to shield at that distance. Okay, great job trying to punish there. That was correct, right? He happened to dodge out of the way, so it didn't hit him, but that was still the correct option. Okay, you both try a dash attack. His just kind of won out. Do a great job going to ledge. Once again, you try to bait out an option, and you learn that he's going to roll there. So, good job. Failed to punish, not a big deal. Alright, so right here is where you start kind of getting caught from this. Okay, so you end up here, right? And you roll. I'm not too upset about this one, right? He did already miss, but that was a pretty quick interaction. So rolling here while you still thought you were in danger, not a huge deal. But this is where you start kind of panic rolling. That, understandable. That happens to Clouds a lot. Very normal, common Cloud thing to shoot in the wrong direction by mistake. Happens all the time. I wouldn't be too upset about that. But after it misses, you know he's to the right of you, right? So he's on your right, okay? And you've already decided you're going to roll in. This is dangerous. The safer option is either to shield and see if he's going to grab, right? You have to play that game. Or leave. Or try to cover an attack with a tilt or something. So you have a few options here, but none of the good options are roll in. So if you roll in, you're still going to end up right next to him, right? And he catches you with, I think this is his down smash? Yeah, this is his K. Rool's down smash, which catches both sides of you. Most characters' down smashes catch a roll in like this, right? So seeing the future, he does catch you for this here. But he has other options too, right? You still just end up in a dangerous position by rolling in here, as opposed to just backing off. So always choosing an option that gets you closer to center stage isn't always the right call. All right, so he catches you out there. You panic rolled instead by choosing kind of a dangerous option or just holding shield. And you had shown earlier, if you had just held shield there, you could have punished. So that's what I mean a little bit by like panic rolling. But you're really going to see it like, I think that's weird because I have that note in my stock 1 notes. Maybe I missed it. I might have to go back. Anyway. All right, so, oh, nope, there it was again. So I was right. This is where the panic rolls really started. I don't know why I put it in stock 1. All right, so you run in and you hit him, right? And then he hits you. Very common thing, normal K. Rool thing. This is the dangerous spot, right? But you hit him just as his super armor started, so he managed to hit you with that. No biggie, happens all the time. And you correctly shield the crown. But after the crown hit, you didn't just like let go and jump away. You didn't even like let go and then try to attack. You panic rolled in, right? And because you try to panic roll in, he catches you again. Okay, so he gets you up on his platform and you roll, and then you panic roll a second time, right? That's a little weird. The first roll makes sense to me. That makes sense. It was a landing roll even because you missed the tech there. By the way, you do miss some techs. You hit the one earlier down here, but you do miss them throughout the set. Not a huge deal. We've already added to the gotcha rule, so I'm not too worried about you guys learning how to tech. We'll figure it out. So rolling in, this is fine here, right? He's underneath the platform, right? So this is a 50-50. Which way is he going to guess where to attack, right? And he guesses wrong. Cool. But then you panic roll a second time, and that panic roll right there, where you were already safe, leads to you getting hit here because you're still getting out of the roll when he's throwing this attack out, right? So you were stuck. If instead of panic rolling, you had just panic shielded and you held shield for a moment, you either could have noticed you were no longer in danger, let go, and moved, or you would have just shielded this, right? So be careful. Panic rolls are very common for new players, so be aware that is a thing you are doing, and try to notice when it's happening and choose a safer option like shielding instead. Shielding or moving, all right? So this tech actually is a big part of why you lose the stock. But again, we're going to work on missed techs as a group, so I'm not too concerned about that just right now. So he knocks you off stage. Okay. You correctly save your double jump. Great work there. I'm really glad we've been working on that because it's going to cost you stock 3, right? But at least here you show that when you're thinking about it, you are saving your jump. So great work. That's a huge improvement, right? And actually, I'm going to walk that back. It actually doesn't cost you your stock 3. It easily could have cost you your stock 3. I'll explain when we get there. Don't worry about it for now. Okay, great work here, right? Saving your double jump actually saves the stock, which is why it's a shame that you mess up an option here, and you die for it. So you come in here, and you can make it back here. You can make it back here, but he's coming down with the down air. And I think what's happening, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and if I am wrong, I apologize, but I can't read your mind. What it looks like to me is you're trying to avoid this down air, right? And in attempting to avoid this down air, you let yourself drift a little bit too far down and just barely miss grabbing the ledge, right? Which results in a pretty early stock. Now you have the right idea of avoid this down air, so I wouldn't be too upset about this. It's just a slight misspacing, happens all the time. Especially while you're learning that positioning, right? It's okay to make mistakes. Totally fine. I just want to point out that another option you have as Cloud, when you find yourself in this position where you are worried that your opponent is going to land something right here to eat your up B, right? Or your jump or whatever, one good option you could have taken like here is side B, okay? Uncharged side B, and actually I think charged side B too, but that would feel like a waste, but I digress. I'm actually not 100% sure it has the same effect. I think you do stall in air. Whatever, doesn't matter. While at the very least normal side B, and I believe also charged side B, you could use it for this purpose. If you were to use side B here, Cloud does the starting animation, right? And it gives him a tiny little boost. Not a lot, but it lets him stall in midair the first time you do it. After you do it one time, he will continue to fall as you do it, so it stops being safe, right? But the first time you do it, it lets you stall in midair. If you had done that here, you could have both waited for the down air, right? and still up B to stage comfortably. So I'm just pointing out, try to get used to using your side B when recovering as Cloud low in order to buy yourself time. It doesn't have to be an every time thing, and it shouldn't be an every time thing. It's a mix-up option, right? So in the same way that you can recover high, you can recover medium, you can recover low, Cloud also has the option of recover low and stall, right? Somewhere in there. And you can choose kind of where during that sequence to stall. So try to get used to throwing it in different places or not using it at all in different manners to throw off your opponent's timing. Okay? Great way for Cloud to get back to stage. It makes it very hard, a lot more difficult at least, to edgeguard him. But that's why you lose the second stock, right? You were trying to avoid this down air, and it causes you to miss space this just a tiny bit, and so you lose stock too. All right, so right there, you went for a hard read on the roll. I don't even think that's a bad call. Honestly, good call. Most opponents will roll in there. This opponent didn't, but that was that's still a great call out. Okay? So that was absolutely would have taken this. Well, probably he's a very heavy character, but could have taken the stock, right? So I think that is actually the correct option most of the time. Okay, just a matchup thing. You still had the right call here of up smash. It's just his counter lasted a little bit longer than you expected it to. Totally fine. Still the right call. Only thing is with up smash is that up smash definitely wouldn't kill King K. Rool, whereas F smash would have. But up smash also covers a jump option, and you weren't sure which one he was going to take, right? So understandable. Okay, get knocked up here. Down air is a great call. Okay, you do a good job avoiding that. Shield that, and your opponent correctly comes in for the grab there. Okay, so you could have either parried that or let go of shield a little bit sooner, probably, and gotten away. But at the very least, you were willing to shield it, right? Given the distance, you could have maybe avoided it instead of shielding it. But I'm just happy you were shielding it. I'm just happy you picked a defensive option and didn't just run in blindly at all. So honestly, great work there, even though the opponent was good and punished your shield. All right, so right here, big mistake, right? So so you did hold a little bit long there. I'm almost positive you could have let go of shield after it hit you and escaped. But you weren't sure if he was going to dash attack or not, so you just lost the 50-50. Not a huge deal. Okay, so this is the big deal. He grabs you and throws you off stage, and old habit pops up, and you double jump immediately, right? And because you double jump immediately, he smacks you, and you're dead. That doesn't reach. It reached right here. It didn't grab ledge. You died. Just straight up, that is a lost stock. GG. The round is over. But King K. Rool makes a mistake. And that is the only reason that this match continues past this point. So that double jump immediately almost cost you this stock super early because he read it out, right? So just be aware that that did happen. So be very careful about that double jump habit. All right. Okay, you panic roll in, right? Do a good job of getting back to the ground. Get to ledge. You're right there. Okay, so the mistake here is you go for a really hard read very late, right? So he's already moving, right? And you're still trying to punish him being here. And it leads to you unsafely landing and eating an S smash, right? So that's a really hard call out, okay? I don't think the payoff would have been worth it. I'm not sure it would have killed him there. It depends on which way it would have sent him, right? And the result was because it missed, you're now stuck on the ground in end lag because you threw out you landed with an aerial, right? And he also just spaced the F smash correctly, which cost you that stock super early. Safer option there might have been preferable. Okay. At the very least, you were going from disadvantage state, right? You didn't need to make a super hard call out there. Understandable. You're getting hungry to take the stock, right? So I'm not ragging you too hard. But that hard commit while you were in disadvantage state is what cost you the stock here. So that's how you lost all 3 stocks this game, right? You lose the first one because you kind of panic rolled in. Okay, you lose the second one from messing up Cloud's recovery a little bit. You lose the third one twice, kind of, once to your double jump habit, and then for real here when you over hard commit. All of that stuff, honestly, pretty minor problems. Pretty easily fixable, and it's stuff to notice and work on, but it's stuff that's more subtle that you're going to kind of get over time. So honestly, in spite of them still having 3 stocks left to year 0, I think you did really well in this game, Ben. I think you actually played this pretty solidly, and I'm really happy with a lot of the stuff I'm seeing in this match. You're doing everything we've been talking about, and I think it's going to lead you to being very, very solid pretty quickly. So now let's talk about what to kind of do next from where you're at, okay? Like you specifically. Let's improve your Cloud gameplay, not just your Smash gameplay, but your Cloud gameplay, right? So the things that the reasons I didn't bring them up while watching this is because it's really hard to point out what you're not doing, right? And the thing is you're not doing a lot of normal Cloud stuff about how they play neutral just yet. And that's okay. You've been focusing on other stuff. It's hard to learn a whole bunch of stuff at once. But let's start trying to learn some Cloud stuff. All right? So, specifically, the things I want us to kind of work on for your Cloud in neutral are short hop back air, short hop nair, using your up tilt to cover space, and using up air to juggle. Okay? Those 4 things are really key. So I want you to start working on those. So to illustrate, let's go take a look at a match from Spargo, your pro player, against a King K. Rool, and see how he's using that stuff in this matchup to great effect. Okay, be right back. Okay, Ben, we're back. This is Spargo versus Copel at a tournament called Matchbox, which is an online tournament that took place last year. Let's briefly go over real quick again what we're going to look for in this game here, okay? I'm only going to watch the first game of this, right? I do encourage you to go watch the rest of this on your own. But at the very least, I wanted to go over this first one so we could kind of talk about a little bit what to look for. So, pay attention to how Spargo is using his short hops, and what he's doing out of short hops to approach and how he's using it in neutral. Okay. I also pay attention to how he's using his up tilt to cover space, and anytime he starts juggling the opponent, what options he's taking, especially up air, to cover the opponent's landing options. All right, let's take a look. I did mute the video. He does swear a little bit during this, so as the adult in the room, I do have to mute it. So that's why there's no sound. But let's take a look. Also, this quality is funky. All right. So like right there, right? He did a back air to try to read a normal get up, right? He's using up air. So he did that to escape. And then he used up tilt as a combo starter, right? Hit in front of him. Incredibly important move for Cloud. While your opponent's at low percents, it covers a ton of space. And it is a great combo starter to get your opponent into a bad situation. So, if you aren't already, I would highly recommend changing your right stick from smash to attack. I apologize if we have talked about this before, and I just don't remember. Sorry. There's a lot of you. But I'd highly encourage you considering changing it from smash to attack. So that way, instead of using smash attacks with your right stick, you'll be able to use your tilts because they're really key for Cloud, right? All right. Up tilt, up air, and then back air, and then up air, and then up air into a side B. And he racked up 100 damage from one chain. Crazy strong. Went for a back air, and that kills most characters. He just happens to have armor, so it didn't, but absolutely destroys most characters. Okay, he went for the side B there, right? Your side B, you didn't do it during that last match. There wasn't a real great opportunity for it, but it's an amazing kill move, especially against heavies on the sides, right? Any character on the side, but it's one of the catching a heavy on the side with side B is a great way to get him, right? At the edge, not ledge, but edge. Okay, he uses forward tilt there, right, as a quick get away from me option. So again, Cloud's tilts, really important. And he does use his down air at ledge a lot, which you could consider also trying to pick up. It hits below ledge, so in a lot of matchups, you can catch people trying to go to ledge, and it's called a 2-frame. There are 2 frames where you're vulnerable when you're grabbing ledge before your ledge invincibility kicks in. And if there's a hitbox there while you grab that ledge during those 2 frames, then you won't grab ledge and you'll get hit instead. And Cloud's down air will catch those 2 frames pretty often. Okay, so he uses back air, like go down through platform back air to kind of keep himself safe while he's getting back to stage. Okay, does up Biao shield, right? By the way, I know I brought this up a little bit during your actual like match review. You have been doing a great job incorporating shield into your gameplay. That was one of the things you weren't doing before, and now you have been. I just want to give you props. Great work. You've shown a ton of improvement using the fundamental triangle to your advantage a lot. So just great work there. I just wanted to give you credit because in spite of losing that match, you did great at using the basic tools of Smash Bros. And I just know in the past we have mentioned it before because up Biao Shield's one of Cloud's best options. So look at that. Look how far he goes down, right? So he uses his air dodge here to gain some distance. I normally don't recommend this. However, because Cloud's recovery is so bad, it does get him a little bit more horizontal distance from a long way away from stage. That's what I was trying to say. So it's something you can consider learning how to do when you're super far off stage. Air dodging to the left quickly to build up some horizontal movement. Not a horrible idea. I don't recommend it for most characters because they don't need it, but Cloud needs it. So something you can consider picking up. Either way, though, he goes really low here, right? But he was smart, saved his double jump. He uses the side B, like I discussed earlier, to kind of build a little bit, just a tiny bit of height and extra distance. Double jumps up, and then up Bs. Gets cut out anyway, right? But he made it back to stage from that distance, which is crazy. Okay, use fair there as a good walling out tool. In's doing it there too. Great up tilt to start a combo, right? Start a juggle situation. Back air, neutral, trades. Run back side B. Very nearly kills K. Rool from center stage. And back air, right? Back air is great in neutral because it's a great damage builder for Cloud, just in general, and it's a kill option, right? It's just a really, really good tool for Cloud. If you space it properly, it even keeps you safe against most characters. Really, really powerful option that's very hard to play around for most of the cast. Up air, up tilt, right? So This is matchup specific, but just wanted to point it out in case because King K. Rool's a fairly common pick in the area for some reason, but I just wanted to point out, if you end up between King K. Rool and a crown he has thrown, if you grab him because he has armor during that time, and then immediately throw him, when the crown comes back, you'll be in your throw animation and you won't take damage from it. Because consider King K. Rool's attack. So just something to point out, that if you end up between the two, grabbing is a great option. If you were to dash attack or something, which you do a couple times during your match, then you'll get hit by Crown. But if you grab him, then when Crown comes back, it doesn't hit you. Like look at that down air at ledge, right? It built up quite a bit of damage and put him in a rough position. He kind of uses down air there a little bit to land on the other side of him. He bought himself some time, right, with side B there. It also hits above ledge, which is kind of interesting. So if your opponent happens to be standing here when you do it, you can even catch him with it. So that was actually a mistake on Spargo's part, right? He did side B to buy himself time, but there was already a ball coming at him, right? So not a not great example of using side B to recover. So notice there how Spargo's mixing up his timing of throwing up air in neutral. Okay, so here he waits till the very last second and throws it out. Here he doesn't do it at all, and then there that last time, so the first time he did it super late. The second time he just empty hopped and landed without throwing anything out, and the third time he actually did it really early, right? So this is important because it can throw off your opponent's timing. They don't know when the hitbox is going to come out, and so they might mess up the shield, right? They might let go too early. That's a very advanced thing. I'm more interested in just seeing you start using those 4 tools more often in general. But I just wanted to point out as kind of like an advanced cloud thing that I think would go overlooked. So he goes to back air. Back air, up tilt, up air, up tilt, up smash, because he got a heart, because he, the King K. Rool made a mistake. Now Spargo, I think this is where he makes a pretty large error coming up here. Yeah, he goes way too deep here for this, right? This is a very dangerous thing for Cloud to do with 1 stock left. I actually would consider this a pretty big mistake on Spargo's part, and he's a much better player than I am, so what the heck do I know? But he does this is super sketchy for Cloud. If he had another stock, this would be more understandable, because if he does die to this, then at least the game's not over, right? But his opponent's at 136. There's no reason for him to go this deep and commit this hard to take this level of risk to take the stock. There just isn't. He could do this on stage and it would have been fine. Instead, he very, very nearly dies over that. So this is a matchup thing. If you hold onto King K. Rool's crown, if you knock him away after he throws it, then you can pick it up, and then he can't use his side B until he gets it back. And he can only get it back when you choose to throw it. So that's a matchup specific thing, but it's a pretty funny matchup specific thing. So if you ever come across another King K. Rool player and you manage to get them away from their crown, pick up crown. And then you can either throw it directly at them as a projectile, or you can just kind of throw it up in the air, hit them, pick it back up. I do that a lot. I just play crown keep away. Ooh, that was dangerous. He finds himself in a really bad position here, gets spiked, but then he teched the spike. Really important reason why we're working on techs. Being able to tech stuff like that absolutely just saved his entire game there, right? Back air. Charges. The King K. Rool player overcommits with a crown, and he uses up B to take stock. All right. So, yeah, if you get the time, review this match, right? and any other Sparrow play, honestly, and pay attention to how he's using his short hop back airs, his nairs, his up tilts and up airs in neutral, right? And to cover space and to juggle with, because they're really important cloud tools that you're not using quite yet. And now that you've got a lot of the basic Smash stuff down, I think learning how to use Cloud's best tools is going to elevate you up another level. Okay? All right, Ben. Hope you found some of this helpful. I'll see you in class, all right?